Hello, everybody. Welcome to CripChat, your weekly podcast for everything disability. Today, I have with me Jonathan Shar, Ibby,
Hello.
David Cunningham, and myself,
Hello.
David D. Today, we'll be talking to the crew again, um, disability and identity. Please
Thank you
like
very
and
much,
share.
David.
Please
Welcome
like and
to
share.
our
If you got any
podcast.
questions, please put it in
In the comments.
the comments, and please subscribe and share.
That's the one.
Thank you very much, David. Over to me. So welcome everyone to CripChat, our weekly
Share.
podcast of the disability. Today with me we have our usual crew, but we'll be talking more to the Davids. So how's it
The
going, David
Davids.
D? David D?
Everything's all good, all good, all good.
Yep.
All good.
Where
And
Going well,
how about
Ibby.
you, Jonathan?
I'm good order to see all of you and all of our audience.
That's
If
right.
you want to comment, please like, share,
That's right, Jonathan. So for the audience out there, please feel free to engage with us. Please like and share and also comment. Uh, you've heard enough from me and Jonathan last week, but now we'll be going to the Davids. So, David C, tell us.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Let's start off with describe to our audience how you define yourself in a contemporary Australian society.
Yeah. Well, look, thanks for that question, Ibby. It's a great question to ask. Um, I actually define myself primarily by my accomplishments and my success and my achievement. I don't predominantly define myself by my disability because my disability is actually visible and present to everyone anyway because I have cerebral palsy and I sit in a wheelchair. So for me, it's more about what I do, um, and how I contribute to our society and what I actually achieve. So yeah,
That's awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff, Cunningham. How about you, David D?
the question again?
So, just tell our audience, how do you define yourself in a contemporary Australian society? So, just give us a brief introduction of yourself.
Well, I don't define myself by my disability, but I define myself
Mm.
as a family man and a
Nice.
person who likes to keep healthy and keep fit and be helpful to society and
Contribute
likes
to
to help
society.
my help to like to help my peers and family.
Uh, of course, peer support, very important. Thank you guys for that. Awesome. So, in saying that, um, what influence has your family and also your close friends had on your identity? David Cunningham.
well, like my own life, my family actually shaped, who I was and my from my childhood. And so basically, my parents are both actually like retired teachers, and were teachers in their lives. So basically, I of course like never escaped doing my homework. That was important. Um,
Of
but
course.
like, but like both of them taught me about society and about lobbying and about advocacy and about how to stick up for myself and how to you know, um, I project myself out there. My friends, not so much. mean, my friends are there. I think they actually help to define me by making sure I'm on the straight and narrow path. I do the right thing, and that they remind me of what I need to know rather than what I want to know, which is really important.
Of course,
Yeah,
of
so
course. How important is that? Being able to, I guess, learn at a young age about advocate for yourself. Getting yourself out there, standing up for what you believe in.
yeah.
Very important. Thank you very much for that, Cunningham. Interesting. And how about you, David D?
Ask the question again.
So, your family and your close friends, what influence have they had, on your identity, on who you are
Well,
as a
well,
person?
me family. Ever since I was young, my parents and my siblings, we used to always. It's always go to school. Yeah, school holidays. I'll be working with my father. So ever since I was young, we had a work ethic and a study ethic, and go to church. First in religion, first in God, then study, then work and friends.
Nice.
So
Interesting.
and family was always held high, also. So we had a good work, health, family, and religion ethic.
Oh,
So
yeah. Strong emphasis
and
on religion.
and
Yep.
when I got my had my disability, and well, at the end, at first family want to take care of me, and they think they worry about you too much, but then you have to let them know that you got to let me make my mistakes, let me learn how to get around, how to do things myself. I can't be babied all my life.
Yeah, so there's been that shift.
Yes, we know
Mm.
they mean well, but at the end, that can it could turn to a bad thing, because then a person won't learn how to do things for themselves.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting, interesting. So, yeah, I guess Cunningham, grew up, having a disability, and then David, D on the other hand, acquired his disability later on in life. So there's been that shift. Sounds, yeah, interesting, interesting. Thank you both for,
Oh,
sharing.
for sure, yeah.
Now, when in your life have you, experienced any doubt about your identity? Cunningham?
Great question, Ibby. Thanks for asking that. Look, for myself, it, my sexual identity, and basically, I am my sexuality. So I actually done with, and that was actually pretty tough because when you're gay and you actually have a disability as well, it can be doubly as difficult. Um, and so yeah, that was a period of life where I had a bit of doubt, but I don't now. But yeah, it was tough during those years of going through the process.
Yeah. So, for all the trauma that you went through, but look, I'm glad you learned to accept yourself, David Cunningham. That's awesome, especially when it comes to
Oh
identity.
yeah.
How important is that? How about you, David D?
Look,
Have you ever experienced any doubt about your identity?
well, with me at first, uh, because I've got my religion, my faith to back to lead my background. I
Yep.
there is no doubt. I rely on Jesus Christ, and ask and you shall receive, knock and the door shall be open. So if I put my trust in God, I believe there's no doubt He won't provide. There's no doubt that He's not going to provide. I've got no doubt of Him providing, and so there's no need to try to have doubts. Also, when I got my disability, I accepted it straight away. Now, when someone accepts, you can't move on from your disability unless you accept. First thing you can do is accept, and accepting your disability, you will not doubt what you can do. So, all those who have disabilities, if you want to live a happier life and you want to move on with your life, accept your circumstances and you will see life will get better.
Interesting. Thank you for that, David. Just before we move on, David Cunningham, if you don't mind me asking, at what age did you, I guess, learn to,
Yes.
well, not learn to, but start to accept, that you have a disability?
Well, fortunately, I was born with mine. So basically, accepting my situation in life was pretty, like apparent. I couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
And of course, it wasn't going to get any better. And that's the thing
Yeah.
too. It's how it is. So I had to just say, okay, this is me. This is how I actually am. I think that the process of me working through my sexual identity, though, that was difficult because there's only things. There's certain things I can't do, certain things I can do, and of course, and of course, and then there's a problem of going actually on like dates and experiencing that, which is a whole new identity as well, because you basically, when you go on a date, it feels like a job interview.
Yeah.
And so on your best identity you can. And I think that when you have a disability as well, it actually makes it more complex rather than less complex. And you've got more to think about what to contend with. So yeah.
And there's always that fear. Yeah?
Oh, exactly. Being rejected, exactly. And I think also when it comes to dating as well for us too, or get that process of identity as well, is that you worry about being rejected because of your disability or because you're not good enough or whatever. And it's about having that confidence to actually prepare yourself for that rejection to say, well, look, if someone rejects me, it's their loss.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not my loss. Because you got to have a comment say, no, someone else better will be around the corner for me, and I've got to keep on just on the process of looking for that person rather than saying it will never happen.
Yeah, look, as a person with a physical disability myself, we do have, we do have capability. We are, amazing, genuine people. People need to
We
see
are.
that. People need to give us a chance. When it comes to
Exactly.
dating, it's very hard. As a straight man with a physical disability, to actually find dates. But we never give up, and so that's the challenges we come across every time.
The problem with people these days is they believe, if you've got disability, they ask, is your missus blind or is yours got a disability too? That's not what it is. they don't have to have a
That adds
disability.
another layer. Mm,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
They don't,
Yeah,
they
adds
don't have
another
to have a
layer.
disability to accept you.
Mm. There's all those assumptions being made. And that's
Yes.
what adds to the layers. It's never ending layers.
It
This
never
needs
ends exactly.
to stop. To the audience out there, it needs to stop. We need to date people.
Exactly.
It's
Give us
all
a
good.
go.
We need to go for it. Thank you very much for that, Davids. Now, describe how your identity impacts your efforts in the disability community. Cunningham?
Well, when it comes to my presence within our disability community, I think I do pretty well on that front. I think many people know who I am, and they know that I'm a useful person. In fact, that I get results.
That's right.
I mean, it's because through my identity, I managed to actually get to be the Carers Alliance campaign manager that actually campaigned in the 2007 federal election that you bring about the NDIS, which is quite an achievement. And of course, they poached me from the Australian Greens to come across to their party to run their upper house campaign for the Senate. And so I did that. And yeah, I mean, that was based on my identity and how I was known and recognised and being a rather passionate person, which is terrific. Um, and so yeah, so I mean, I think make sure we can actually project ourselves and that we're known for something.
Yep.
It's important that we use our identities to actually bring about positive change and useful effort out there. Otherwise, we'll never get ourselves to where we want to be as a community. I think it's important we have certain identities out there who actually are passionate and vocal and who can, and especially for those of us who actually can defend those who can't vocalize as much. I mean, to me, it's like I actually can't stand when I see weaker people with disabilities being actually, unduly attacked or being mistreated. I find that horrific. And so I'm always in there speaking up for them because, to me, having a voice for ourselves is really important as our identity, and it's important we defend those who actually don't have a voice in our community.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly. Very well said, Cunningham. Thank you for that. David,
Yes.
Daoud, being an active, member in your community and, advocating for people, especially those that have vision impairment. How does that, I guess, impact on your efforts in, the
Well,
disability community?
me, when I go places, if I see anything, or literally, I don't see, but if I go through difficult travels, I I think to myself, I, I probably get around it the next time, but I shouldn't have to be troubled with this, but someone else that's blind won't be able to get around it. So I will make things right clear. Like recently, like when I first became blind, there was some phone boxes that I bumped into, and I told it to the council to change the positions and position it a different way, so I can feel it down the bottom. Because down the bottom, I missed the phone box, then hit my head up the top. So they actually did it straight away. they changed
Fantastic.
the way they were positioned, and now I don't hit my head there.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Also, a lot of people, when they see people with disabilities, like recently, a friend of mine told her brother and her brother-in-law to pick me up, and they didn't know how to take it. They were wondering, they were scared to, which way, like what we're going to talk to him about, how we're going to talk to him. It's like, what would offend him? It's like, okay,
Mhm.
you got to understand, we with people with disability, we don't. Some people do get offended, some don't. So
Yeah.
when I show them I'm a normal person, I can make jokes and laugh about it, and then they were in hysteric. Oh man, we thought we were scared to offend you, in a way.
Mhm.
But at the end, they were talking about the night they had with me, the next night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I guess yeah. Look, it's very important to I guess be who you are. You know, just be genuine people. It's people they assume too much, like I mentioned before, and that can be pretty I guess risky, pretty dangerous, especially for us. It can impact on our mental health, and learning to accept ourselves and who we are as human beings. But it's good to just be yourself, David Dowd, like you mentioned. So good on you, and thank you for
And at the
I
end,
guess
you can
being
always,
your genuine self.
at the end, you can always tell them what offends you. Like when you first meet someone, if you seem scared trying to step around things, tell them what offends you and what doesn't. That way, it'll be more comfortable for them and more comfortable for you.
Next time I'll carry a list with me on the do's and don'ts. How about that?
No, if there's, if there's anything that offends you, don't tell them. Tell them what offends you. It could be
No, it's
nothing.
good stuff. It's all about that education, very important,
Yeah,
and just
education,
interacting with people at the end of the day. So we're all humans at the end of the day, and we do,
Yeah.
yearn for that interaction. That's awesome. Thank you both, David Cunningham and Dowd. So, in a social setting or when in the broader community, how do you project your identity? Interesting. David Cunningham.
Well, when it comes to me, I think everyone knows who I am, don't they, Ibby?
Yeah, they sure do.
And, and
Very
I'm pretty,
outspoken.
I'm pretty hard not to forget, right?
Yeah,
I
very hard
mean,
not to keep quiet. That's the thing. Go ahead.
exactly.
well,
Just
well, Cunningham, if you can't see you, you won't be able to remember you unless you speak.
which is true. I mean, the thing I mean, when I go out and actually I'm in social setting, I'm the one that goes and talks to many people, and I network and I make sure that I can work a room really well. Because I mean, to me, at times when I've been the only wheelchair person in the room, I think it's important to spread ourselves around and make sure that everyone knows that we're there, because it helps people to understand how to move their chair forward, to tuck their chair in when you go past them, especially in a room full of different tables and whatnot, and you're, speaking to different people. And see, the thing is, though, in a social setting, every new person, I think, is a new opportunity. And so, it's important to collect more and more networks and more friends, because you never know when like some of them will be useful to interest. So you know, me, it's important to project yourself out there and to make sure that everyone knows who you are, because you never know, you may miss an opportunity that might actually benefit your career or your goals or your ambitions for yourself in your own life, and of course, there's a chance to give as well and to contribute to other people's lives as well. So I I think I did that really well, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, but that's what I think anyway.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, David D?
What was the question?
So I'll read the question. So in a social setting or when in the broader community, how do you project your identity?
How do I project my identity? Well,
Yeah.
I'm not hard to miss
Of course not.
because I'm a tall guy, but see, when I talk to people, I always keep them second guessing.
Oh yeah.
You
Can
understand
you
what I mean?
elaborate on that? Give us an example.
Example, a lot of
Yeah.
people will think I can see because I comment on what they look like.
Nice.
And
So it's above your sixth sense.
something like that.
Interesting.
And they go, how much can you see? I go, nothing.
Yeah.
But at the end,
There's always
you,
this question.
there's always you always a lot of people are interested to talk to you to understand how you do things and how you live life. But a
Yeah,
lot
fair
of
enough.
people, there are some people negative too because they don't understand how you can live like that. And they can come, some people can come with a negative question.
Oh
But
yeah.
you tell
Uh,
them,
yeah.
well,
You
you want to
mentioned
know
negative questions, David. Give
yes.
us like an example of a negative question that
It's a
has been
very,
asked.
very, they go, I don't know how you do it. Just a second.
No, we'll go back to you. So yeah,
Okay.
just asking inappropriate questions. It
Yeah,
happens to all of
yeah,
us.
happens to all of us. Yeah,
Yeah,
do you get any negative questions?
yeah. All the time. All the
All the time.
time.
Can you tell me one
Do
negative
I?
question?
Yeah, Cunningham. So what type of questions do you
Do
guys?
I get negative questions?
Negative questions.
Well, actually, like I was once asked. Yeah, I was once asked to prove that I was disabled.
And how'd that go? Oh, that's all good. Yeah. Look, I get asked like, how do you
And that
sleep?
was
Things like that. And it looks
I've
like
also,
we have lost
that was
Cunningham.
fascinating. And
no,
that was
Yeah,
I've also been asked
from a
how, if I was in your position, I would have committed suicide.
university.
Yeah,
yeah. No, thank you for that, David Daoud. Cunningham, you were cutting out a bit.
So
So,
I said,
yeah, all good. You back with us? And
so I
he's
basically
frozen.
said to them, you want me to do that? You pay me to go to the doctors, and I'll get you what you're after to prove that they wanted.
Oh, and we have lost Cunningham, and that's okay. We will follow up with him later on. So David, David D, describe like an occasion where you have successfully asserted your identity with the government. So
Well,
you spoke once about the council. Talk to us about that.
well, recently
Yep.
I was walking down the street and then realized the barriers were broken for around the
Oh yeah.
roundabout.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, apparently, a car went through it,
Oh.
and I told my son, and he goes, "Dad, I'll make a complaint about it." They
Yep.
they 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 they, they immediately responded. He told them that my dad walked off the curb. They go, we're gonna fix it up, but for now, because he's walking off the curb, we'll put sandbags there.
Yep. Yep. So a temporary solution.
So they acted immediately.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome, and the great work of your child as well. God bless. Did such amazing work, advocating for his father. God bless him. Very good. Um, we got Cunningham back. Can you just repeat what you said
Hello.
before you cut out? Hello.
Yeah, I was saying that yeah, there was a time where I got asked to prove I had cerebral palsy by a university,
Oh,
even
okay.
though I
How'd
was
that
sitting right
go?
in front of him in my wheelchair.
Oh, terrible, terrible.
Well, I felt rather insulted,
Yeah,
What
of
did you
course.
respond?
and so basically I said, so I said to them, I'll do that if you pay me to go to the doctors and get the verification, which they
Nice.
declined
It's
to
a
do that. So
win-win
that was the end of
situation.
that discussion.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Cunningham and David. Now, Cunningham, describe one occasion when have you successfully asserted your identity with the government?
There was one occasion where Centrelink actually asked me whether or not I was better or well, or whether my cerebral palsy is going to get any better. And I said to them, no, unfortunately, it's not. It's rather permanent. It's not going to change. And that was on
Is that something you?
their, 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 their pension review form.
Yeah, yeah. I know the
Which is
process.
most interesting.
Is that something you agree with, Jonathan?
Well, that's the thing. When they constantly ask to reassess when they know our disabilities are permanent. It just wastes our time and energy.
They do waste your time and energy because it's an ongoing process and it's a repetitive process. You tell them all the information
Yeah.
they need to know, and they come back and they start all over. It's a headache.
Is there something that we can do to like the doctor certificate or something that's a card that says yes, this person has a disability and is legit?
What do you want us to step on our foreheads? We are disabled.
No,
Yeah,
no, like
exactly.
a card.
So these,
A
oh, that's
card.
exactly right.
Terrible, terrible.
Like,
Something we need to, I guess, advocate.
so people look. A lot of people. Uh, Look, there's a lot of people that do
Okay, dude,
say
and he
lies.
has left the building. Alright, no worries. We'll follow up with David D. Alright, so to the audience out there, David Cunningham, what advice can you give to our audience on how to best develop and advance their own identity in Australia?
What advice would I give? Well, I would say that it's important that we really, really know ourselves and actually understand who we are with our disability, whether it be from birth or acquired. I think it's important we actually understand and know who we are as people, what we actually are here for, what our purpose is, what our direction in life is, what we're after, and just how we want to contribute to this life. And to make sure that we actually have a plan for ourselves. We plan for ourselves with our life becomes, purposeful and actually beneficial and helps to better ourselves in the world we live in. It's important that we do that. I mean, and also to be confident and happy with ourselves. It's important we actually have a smile on our faces. And because I mean, I think the thing people forget is always that, like, when you have a disability and you're out in public, you actually represent your entire community. So if we're miserable, for example, walking people think, oh, that's must be all of them. They're all like that. And I think, no, I'm not like that. That's not me. So I think it's important we remember that people view us for who we are and what we actually, project as. So it's important we don't say, "Oh, look at me, I'm a poor, person with no disabilities." When we say, "No, I'm David, and I happen to actually have a disability."
Yep.
There's two ways of thinking about it. You can call yourself a disabled person, or you can be a person who actually has a disability. It's two ways of
Yeah, putting the
seeing
person
how we
first.
identify as exactly. So it's all about that. And just to smile, I think we need to smile more and laugh more. So yeah, not take life too seriously.
Well said. Thank you very much for that, Cunningham. Well said. It's all about
Welcome.
accepting ourselves, but treating us like normal people, pretty much living normal everyday life. Awesome. What about
Exactly.
you, David D? Welcome back. So, what advice can you give, to our audience out there on how to best develop and advance their own identity in Australia? Are you there, David?
I'm here. I'm here.
David D.
Yes.
So, well, I think people should accept disability, and others should treat people with kindness. And if you need something, don't be hesitant to ask, and try to treat others that have disability with respect, and see what the best way they need to be helped, if they do need to be helped, but ask and try to treat them normal, like a normal friend. And if there's any special way they need to be treated, just ask, because asking is better than sort of predictive.
They're not asking.
But
And assuming. No, that's awesome. That's awesome from both David C and David D. On it's all about accepting your identity and just being out there and living a normal life. So thank you very much for that, David C and David D, on sharing your experiences on how you,
Thank you, Ibby.
give your identity to the world and just keep doing what you do best. You've been watching CripChat, your weekly podcast on everything disability. Join us next week as we talk about more issues on everything disability. Goodbye for now.
See you guys.
right.